This is a surprise live because I keep getting the same messages after posting some of the real estate videos that I posted over the last little while, whether it's land or it's property for rent or for sale. I have had a number of different things that people have said with regards to the cost of rent in Ghana. You know, the big question yesterday I posted a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I posted a video on Instagram specifically, and that was for a two-bedroom home, and the two-bedroom home is listed at $2,500. And I've had people in my DMs or a few comments on the actual post saying that it's too much money, it's too expensive. I posted it on Instagram. I also posted it on my Facebook page, and I also posted it on YouTube. So, you know, I've had different comments regarding that particular one, but others as well. I've had land that I posted that some people had complained was too expensive. So, pardon me, because I do have a little bit of a sore throat if I am scratchy a little bit through this live stream. I'm coming at you from Accra, Ghana, actually from Tema. I'm in Tema, just outside of Accra. It is about 5:15 in the evening where I am. Ghana Man time, GMT, Greenwich Meridian time, actually. People say Ghana Man time because Ghanaians are always late. Anyway, so I just wanted to address this. I hope that some of you are able to join right now. Um, Again, this is why are rent prices so high in Ghana? Okay. Now, today I just want to dive into this heated conversation because people keep on talking about it. Um, and I get it. It's very frustrating, especially when Ghana is a country that has its own currency, the Ghana city. It is the official currency in this country, but there's so much more to the story than what meets the eye. I want to break it down as to why some of these things happen, as far as things being priced in dollars. So first of all, Accra is a major metropolitan city. Okay, just like a city like New York, London, Toronto, even Lagos, Nigeria, and like any big metropolitan city, rent prices can be very high. Especially when you are in the core of the city. Depending on the location you're in, also changes the price. The closer you are to where the action is, the closer you are to the airport, the more expensive things are going to be. And also considering that not everything is for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. You know, the location you choose is based on the lifestyle that you wish to have. And one of the things to remember is Ghana is a developing country, um, and it still has um, things don't match up sometimes in Ghana. I should say things don't match up. So you might get something that is being called luxury in Ghana, but it's not something that would be called luxury where you're coming from. So it's a good thing to keep in mind and to consider the context. Now, the first thing I want to address is why are so many properties priced in US dollars? Okay, so here's the truth about the matter. It's not just about targeting foreigners, because some people say that these high prices being put in dollars are all for the sake of foreigners. But the reality is, it has a lot more to do with that than targeting foreigners. The Ghana city is not a stable currency. It is quite unstable. You'll have, you know, you might have beginning of the week, the rate is one rate, the rest of the week, it's another rate. And so what we have is people are not sure what to expect. So what I'm explaining to you is based on what real estate companies, real estate owners have said to me. That they often have to import their building materials in US dollars, and that those building materials that they're importing are priced in US dollars. So as a result, they have to consider that when they're doing their pricing. It's actually estimated that over 70% of building materials used in construction in Ghana are imported. Anything from cement to some of the finishing touches, there's a lot that is used in building that is imported, and then that gets considered into the pricing, unfortunately. And so with the Ghana city being unstable and often depreciating, what you have is it makes it challenging for some of these real estate developers. They have said it makes it challenging for them to maintain consistent prices in Ghana cities. And that's why they say they opt to price in dollars for the stability. They say it's about protecting the investment and staying afloat in a fluctuating economy. But here's the other interesting thing. Did you know that it's actually illegal to quote prices in dollars in Ghana? According to the Foreign Exchange Act of 2006, the Ghana cedi is supposed to be the sole legal tender in the country. This means that all transactions are supposed to be conducted in Ghana cedis. Despite this law, many real estate companies and even hotels continue to price in dollars because there's not really much enforcement. And let's just say in Ghana, a lot of times there are certain laws that they're not too strict on. For example, you're not even supposed to ask for more than 6 months' rent. The Rental Act says that you're not supposed to take more than 6 months' rent, but a lot of companies take a year, 2 years, even 3, 4, and 5 years up front. So, when it comes to asking for dollar prices, getting around this, they'll often tell you the price in dollars first, but then they'll say you can actually pay in Ghana cedis, the equivalent in Ghana cedis. It's a kind of a loophole that keeps the market moving, but it also adds to some of the frustration that some people have. Some of the locals who are not earning foreign currency find this to be quite frustrating. And I really get it. It feels unfair, especially when salaries are paid in Ghana cedis in this country. Um, Foreigners moving here, sometimes they're still getting foreign currencies, or they may be working international contracts where they're getting foreign salaries or foreign contract in dollars, pounds, euros. But then there are Ghanaians also who are making pounds, dollars, and euros. They might have contracts with foreign companies, or they're working for foreign organizations, international companies, and they're making foreign currency. But the reality is, in Ghana, the cedi is the money that is in the economy. And so when it comes to meeting with the local market, they say it's not about excluding anyone. The real estate people say it's not about excluding anyone, but it's about staying in business in a tough financial climate where the Ghana cedi, is constantly going up and down. It's like one day $1 might be 12 Ghana cedis. The next day $1 might be 15 Ghana cedis. Next day it might be $1 might be 12 Ghana cedis. It fluctuates. I remember there was a time when $1 was I think $1 was like 8 or 9 Ghana cedis, and all of a sudden, shoo, within a short period of time, it just quickly went up to 15, and it was kind of a shocker because so many things changed during that short period of time. So anyway, now Accra isn't alone when it comes to high pricing for rents in major metropolitan cities. Every major city, as I mentioned, has expensive neighborhoods and then more affordable ones. The trick is finding what's right for you. So right now, there are so many neighborhoods that are developing in Accra, especially because Ghana overall, if you're willing to live outside of Accra, you can actually get some pretty reasonable rates if you're willing to be outside of the city. But if you are really adamant on being in the capital city, you are going to pay a premium. So if you're looking for neighborhoods like Trasacco, Cantonments, Labone, Airport Residential, like those places are going to actually command premium prices. We have developing areas like Chado. Chado used to be really, really lower in price, but the prices of Chado have really escalated over the last couple of years. You'll go into some parts of Chado and you'll be like, what? I didn't know prices could be this high in Chado, because there was a time it wasn't. But now that the place is developing so fast, there's so many businesses and so many apartments, homes, it's becoming a really expensive place compared to the way it was before, but it's still less than living somewhere like Cantonments or Trasacco. Now, if you're willing to be outside of the city, you can get lower prices. Going to places like Oyarifa, even East Legon. East Legon has some high prices, but they actually have some finds, some really good finds that you can get that are not as high as what you would expect. Or East Legon Hills as well, Achimota, Medina. If these are places that if you're willing to go a little bit of a further distance, you might find a little bit lower pricing. But you also have to know that you'll be doing a commute if your work is going into town. Sometimes, if you're not working in town, there's no need for you to actually live in town. You could be working from home, you could be working from a different office. So it all depends on what your lifestyle needs are. Of course, if you want something really cheap, and you're willing to live like some of the locals with the lower income, you could be living in a compound house, kind of like going to live in a hostel. You can just rent a room, and it will be a low city price, and you can share kitchen, share bathroom. If you're willing to do that, it's a more communal way of living. Um, but a lot of people coming from the diaspora make the choice that they want to maintain the same type of lifestyle that they had when they were living abroad when they come to Ghana. It's all about the choices and understanding the market. This is one of the reasons why I always say the best thing for you to do is to visit the country first, spend some time, and get an idea of exactly what it is that you're looking for. Let me go to the comments. I have Aaron who says, how have other places regulated real estate prices, or they haven't? Well, I can't speak to I mean, if you're asking me about other countries, every country has their way of doing things. For example, in Canada, I know that Canada's real estate prices have just skyrocketed so much that I believe it was like a year ago, they actually decided to ban all foreign people from being able to purchase property in Canada. And they did that because they said so many foreigners were coming in and buying property that the prices were going sky high and leaving local Canadians unable to even qualify for a mortgage to get a home. So that's what Canada did. That's an example of what Canada did, was to freeze foreigners out of the buying market so that the locals could get in, so they could try to stabilize the market. I'm not sure if it's actually worked or not. It was about a year ago when they made that announcement. So that's an example of what Canada did. I know that, excuse me, now that there's a new government in Ghana, there have been conversations about the Rental Act. I saw something on Twitter today about the regulations of the Rental Act. And I actually also saw a short video clip on WhatsApp where one of the members of parliament spoke to the government about the issues of rent in Ghana and talked about the whole challenge of the 6 months rent in advance that is supposed to be the maximum allowed to be requested, but people are still requesting the 1 year and 2 year upfront. Thank you so much for joining, Lex. I appreciate you. This is a quick live stream that I wanted to come and jump on to talk about the rent prices in Ghana, because it's something that people keep asking me about, why things are charged in dollars and then why the rents are so high, which I was explaining at the beginning of this live stream, that it has largely to do with the fact that real estate people have told me 70% of building materials that are used are actually imported, and those imported goods are charged in USD. And so they feel that in order to have stability in their pricing, stability in doing business, that it's best for them to quote their pricing in USD as a result. Yeah. So let's consider the big picture. They say it's not just about targeting foreigners, it's about economics. It's about currency stability, and the cost of doing business in Ghana is what they say. And whether you love it or whether you hate it, this is the reality that we are dealing with in Ghana. And the conversation shouldn't just stop at us, voicing complaints. We should also be looking at solutions. And I know that this is something that the locals have asked government officials. Excuse me. Pardon me, my throat. I've had a bit of a sore throat the last few days and a cough. So pardon me. So we should be looking at solutions, and I know that solutions are always being discussed and then nothing's really happening, and I hope that something does happen. We do have a new government in place, and hopefully there are going to be some review of some of the policies and see if there's anything that will support people who are in need. How can we make housing more affordable for everyone, and considering what the average salaries are in Ghana, that most of them cannot meet the rising rental costs. I see a comment here from Aaron, excuse me, saying even people in compound houses don't want to be in compound houses. Respectfully, that's like the projects in the US, so don't even have this as an option. Thank you for saying that. I wanted to really, I mentioned the compound houses because people will say that there's no options when they come. That is an option. It's not a desirable option, because you're right. People in compound houses also don't want to be in compound houses because it's not the most desirable situation when you're sharing all those things with everybody. Thank you for joining the live stream, Honorine. I really appreciate you. Thank you. As I was saying, yeah, I think one of the solutions, in my opinion, and I hope that there's somebody who's watching that this may be of interest to them, maybe somebody in real estate or construction, I think that somehow if we can have some local production of some of the things needed to build. So, as I said, 70% of building materials in Ghana used in building properties are actually imported, and they're imported at US dollars. And so, the solution to that would be to have local production of some of these building materials and to be done at a higher quality, because we do have a situation where there will be some people who have building materials made here, but their quality might not be the highest quality that somebody would want. So then they will choose to get something from abroad because they see that thing from abroad as being better quality than the one that is in Ghana. So if we can somehow push the standards up higher, have some more local production on some of the things that are needed in producing, and in construction, in the details and in the finishing, then we can look at not having to import so many of the building materials. So hopefully somebody who's watching, who's in real estate, could definitely look into perhaps doing something like this. Maybe investors see the opportunity in locally producing some of these materials, so that we can start to slowly wean off of importing the majority of the things needed to produce, or to do construction, to produce some of these quality homes and apartments and businesses that people rent and buy. Let me get to the comments. WB says the money is cedi in Ghana, therefore the cost of doing business should be the currency of the country. You can't pay bills with another country's currency. And then Robert says, can we still collect our Social Security if we retire there? Yeah, you can still collect your Social Security if you retire in Ghana. You can still collect whatever money you're making from outside of the country. Keep your bank accounts open. When you leave your home country, I advise everyone, do not close everything out. Don't close your bank accounts. Like, there are certain things that, yes, you're going to close up shop and stuff or whatever and come, but there are certain things you should keep open. Keep your bank account open. Use that bank account for your money coming in, and then you can withdraw that money here with your debit card, or you can wire the money from account to account. There's so much we can do digitally. And know that there's no Cash App in Ghana. There's no PayPal is blocked in Ghana. There's no Zelle in Ghana. What's the other one that a lot of people use? There's another one a lot of people use, and I can't remember. But some of these apps for sending money to each other that are accessible in the United States, I'm speaking primarily to my American people, are not accessible in Ghana. And some of them are not. There's a bug here. Some of them are not even accessible in Canada, where I used to live. There's no Cash App. There's no Cash App in Canada. That's an American thing. So I'm telling you this because if you decide you want to move to Ghana and you want to have that access of people sending you money using some of these tools, like somebody wants to Cash App you, someone wants to PayPal you, open your accounts before you leave America. Open your accounts before you leave America. Remitly, Remitly works in Ghana. Google Pay. You know what? I've not tried the Google Pay, but I think it does work in Ghana. If you're coming with, I think Apple Pay, no. I know people who have their iPhones and they've told me that they can't do their tapping of their phone when they would do purchases. They don't do it in Ghana. There may be a few places that are starting it, but the majority of places do not have where you tap your phone to make payments here in Ghana. So keep those things in mind, making sure to keep accounts open, so that you can send money. Honorine says, here in the UK, we have SendWave and TapTapSend plus others. Yeah, SendWave. I use SendWave to send from Canada, from my Canada account to send to me in Ghana. TapTapSend, I know I've heard people using that as well to send to Ghana. So you have to look into all those things when it comes to accessing your funds. If you're retiring in Ghana and you have retirement checks coming in, keep your bank account open abroad so that you keep getting your retirement checks. Because if you switch your bank account to a Ghana bank account, they may be like, why are you getting the money into a foreign account? You're best to leave it into that account. And Also, it's a good idea to check into the tax laws of your home country because every country is different when it comes to tax laws when you leave your home country. So, for example, Canada, um, it's recommended you pay your taxes, but they don't enforce that you pay your taxes when you decide to be living out of the country more than you're living in the country. When you are Americans living out of the United States, from what I've been told by Americans, they still have to pay their taxes even though they are no longer living in the United States. They're still paying. There's a certain percentage based on whatever the earnings are outside of the country that you still pay taxes on. So, my advice is to investigate your tax laws and find out how much tax you have to pay. All right. Um, Menelik from Detroit says, I would love to meet you one day. Oh, thank you so much. I do get a lot of people saying that they want to meet me, and people who come to Ghana and they send me a message and say that they're in town, they want to meet. I don't always have the capacity to meet with every person. Imagine you have your social platform and you do have a lot of people who follow you. You don't always have the time to stop and meet every single person that wants to meet you as much as you love the support and appreciation of everyone. A lot of times I meet people by chance at this point because I'm so busy. But yeah. Um, Lord Robert says, where in Ghana am I currently broadcasting from? I said it at the top. I am broadcasting from Tema, Ghana. Um, Tema is about 20 kilometers from Accra, and it is the city closest to the zero degree mark on the earth. So it's the city that is known as the closest inhabitable place to the center of the earth. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so today the live was all about talking to you briefly, quickly about, why rent is high in Ghana. And so I had said at the top, just I'll quickly review before I wrap up today, that I had said the cost of rent in Ghana is quite high because it is, first of all, a metropolitan city. A lot of big cities have high rent, whether you're in Accra, Lagos, New York, London. A lot of metropolitan cities, capital cities, have high rent compared to the rest of the country. Because if you decide you want to live in Cape Coast, you could probably be paying for a 6 bedroom house that costs you the same as a 2 bedroom apartment in Accra if you're willing to live outside of the capital city. You can get some huge property in the Volta region somewhere uh, that is not going to be as much rent as if you're in Accra. So keep that in mind. That is also something to consider. But yeah, so I just wanted to come and mentioning to you the whole purpose of this live was talking to you about the cost of rent. I have repeated myself a couple of times since coming on, and I know people are just joining right now. You can watch the replay and see what I said with regards to why the cost of rent is high in Ghana, why the charge of US dollars in Ghana when the country is operating on Ghana cities. Um, it is something that is definitely a big frustration for a lot of people. I would love to hear more from you in the comments, what your thoughts are on this, any questions you may have that can be answered after the live is finished. This was a quick live. I've been on for about 23 minutes, going on 24 minutes. And yeah, so Audrey says everyone outside Ghana focuses on Accra. It's like comparing Los Angeles to Palm Springs, very different. Yes, that's why I was mentioning you could choose to live outside of Accra and get something so much bigger for less money or for the same cost and get something that's huge, So and then also something that is happening a lot is people just want the convenience in big cities. They want to just be close to everything. Because I know someone who said that they would rather be close to everything, be able to jump in an Uber and be somewhere in 5 minutes than to have to be far away because of less rent. They're willing to pay more money to be towards like the center of it all. So it all depends on what your lifestyle needs are, what your desires are, and what you can afford. Because sometimes what you can afford isn't what someone else can afford. Um, And what someone else can afford isn't what you can afford. You know what I mean? Somebody who's making $1 million a year is not going to be like, oh, 2,500, that's too much money. To them, it's no big deal. It's just a drop in a bucket. And there are people in Ghana that make a lot of money, not just foreigners coming to Ghana. There are Ghanaians who are millionaires. Like, seriously, there are Ghanaians who are millionaires. They may not be talking about it and flossing or stuff, but there are Ghanaians who are millionaires, silently walking the streets. Okay. Audrey says, I mean, regarding the rent, and Accra has a lot to offer. Yes, that's why it's expensive. And Jesse O says, Heritage 100, what's the promo code to get 5% off purchase? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and check because I had done a video at Heritage 100. I think it was like 2 months ago. So let me go back and check in the comments what that video, what the link was for that. Jesse O, you can send me an email to get the promo code, because once I go off this live, sometimes when I go off these lives, the live comments disappear for some strange reason, and I've actually filed my concerns with YouTube about the glitch that sometimes it goes off. So hopefully it's still there. But my email, I'm trying to see if I can, let me see if I can respond to your email. I usually use do my live streams from my laptop. Today I'm doing it from my phone, and I'm trying to find where to send you the message. Oh, okay, Jesse O. So my email is info@ivyprosper.com. So info@ivyprosper.com. info@ivyprosper.com. Send me an email, and I'll get you that code. All right. Ja Ghanaian says, I'm building an Asebu Pan-African village, and I love it because after living in NYC, I needed space free of excess crowds. Yeah, plus Asebu Pan-African village is also a place where a lot of diaspora have gone, and there's also Ghanaians there as well who've gone to build, and they want to be outside of, you know, the crowded city. They want to be somewhere where there's more open space, there's peace, there's the breeze from the ocean, all that stuff. Dennis says, how much do you pay for rent in Ghana? Rent is different. Are you asking me how much I'm paying? Rent is different depending on where you want to be. I've seen people pay $1,000 a month. I've seen people pay $2,500. I've seen people pay $5,000 a month. I've seen people pay $500 a month. There's people who've paid $200 a month. It all depends on what you want and where you're living. The neighborhood, the city, is it an apartment? Is it a house? So it all depends on what it is that you have. Prices vary. Gleona Ellis is watching from Amsterdam. Thank you for joining. And then Gleona Ellis says, what about Sambra City? Any commenter on that? So that place has just been like so much stress because the initial video that a content creator made, he was saying that it was the government that gave land, and I was trying to clear up the whole thing, but it's like nobody believed me, and that video has gotten a life of its own. So let me just say again, Sambra City is actually a real estate development. It's not a city. They've just given it that name, Sambra City. And it is a real estate development of a gated community that is it's actually a 15-minute drive from where I live. Funny enough, it's not far from where I live. So it is a collaborative effort of Earn Your Leisure, Shaka Bars, and 3 businessmen, Ghanaian businessmen who are into real estate, who've come together to do this development. And the whole goal of the development is to target people from the diaspora, but they've said it's open to all continental Africans as well. So this is a community that's supposed to be one providing a living experience that is going to be similar to where you come from. It's not going to be a difficult transition, and that's the reason why some developers come and decide to create projects for the diaspora, because they know the diaspora, when they come to Ghana, they don't know where to look, they don't know where to start. They just want something that's like, you know, you make your payment, you're in turnkey kind of situation where you don't have to stress yourself with trying to build. So that whole thing, um, it's not completed yet. The project's just started. They actually just made the announcement in November, and it got so much traction after that content creator made his video, and it went viral, and people keep reposting it. So yeah, it is. You can check it out. There's a website. They have a website that started where you can get information on how to purchase. The website is sanbracity.ghana.com, and you can get information on how you can get in. They have a mortgage payment plan, or you can pay cash up front. So they're partnering with some of the local banks. That's the thing that's making this a little bit easier, is they're partnering with local banks in Ghana, whereas typically people pay cash up front for homes in Ghana. And so, but a lot of people come from the diaspora. You're coming from an environment where you're used to mortgages, you're used to loans. And so you can get in on this. They're partnering with the banks, with Republic Bank, Stanbic Bank, and I can't remember the other one, but I know Republic Bank and Stanbic Bank, I'm pretty sure, are two of their partners on this particular project. And what else? I'm trying to think if I can remember. They're doing 18-month payment plan. 18-month payment plan. So it's an 18-month payment plan. But go to their website, which is sanbracity.ghana.com. SANBRACITYGHANA.com to get more information. Yeah. I actually am going to try to see if I can go there and do some, maybe go there and show the land, because it's like nobody believes me. Anyway, someone's asking me if I've ever visited Burkina Faso. I have not. I've been at the border. Like, I've been at the border of Ghana and Burkina Faso, but I've not actually go into Burkina Faso. Well, we drove past and then we turned around, and I was there when I was working with Ghana Tourism, but I've not gone into Burkina Faso, not yet. Thank you for asking. So thank you everybody for joining me today for this quick live stream. If you like the content, don't forget to tap the $ at the bottom to support this channel. Support me bringing you accurate information, bringing you things happening in Ghana, bringing you information that is useful to you if you're trying to make the decision on moving to Ghana, or just living, or just not even just living, or just visiting Ghana, or investing in Ghana, whatever it may be. Because I always say, for some people, you can move here and build a good life. But for some people, it's just to visit and have a great time. It's not for everyone. Some of you have built a whole life somewhere. You have kids, family, you have deep roots. You don't have to pluck yourself up and come if you're not able to. You can just come on vacation. People go to Spain on vacation. They go to Paris. They go to London. So why not come to an African country and just have a holiday and go back, have a good time and go back? So it's not for everyone to live, but I say it's for everyone to come and enjoy themselves, even for a short period of time, and experience it. So yeah, thank you so much. And stay tuned as I continue to bring you content and information from Ghana, from Africa, to the rest of the world. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time.